Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So today we're going to do some more floating LVP. This is the material we're using. Similar to what the last video was, but of course I got my product all stacked over there. It's acclimated. I put it in here a few days ago, so it should be good and ready to go. And then we got this tile here, and we're going to put some T-mold, make that transition to this. So what we need to do first, let me show you, is we just got some old pad glue or something. So we're just gonna get this prepped and ready to go. You know, most of the time people just kind of lay over that, but I think a little extra prep work is always better to do, and so you get a better outcome at the end. So we'll work on that for a minute, and then we'll work on the layout and kind of show you how we're going to do that. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that's not some work, but it is. But it just, you know, if there's any plaster or any little chunks of pad or glue sticking up, this just kind of knocks them down. And, you know, you don't have to mess with it later on. So I'll just finish this room out. See, there's a lot of crap that came off that floor. I mean, really, what did that take me? A few minutes to scrape this whole room with that 8-inch scraper. But it still, you know, it got quite a bit of stuff off that floor, just loose glue and pad and other stuff. So we'll go into the next room. Okay, another thing we need to do is undercut these door jambs so we can get a nice finish underneath that doorway. And for that, I'm just going to use one of these multi-tools. These things, I use it all the time. They are sure handy. So what we do is just lay a piece of scrap down like that so you get the right height. And then you just lay that on top of there and cut it. Piece of cake, huh? We'll just go around the whole door jamb and cut the trim and everything. Sometimes they're a little stubborn. Get the other side here. Houston, we have a problem. I am going to have to swap out batteries here real quick. So the point of that is we want this material to go under that door and just have a nice clean look to it. So laying out the room. So what I've done is I found the center of my room. The room was 135.5 inches, something like that. And I think it was 80, whatever that was, 80, no. .67¾ inches. So that is the center of the room. So these are just my scraps I'm going to use for my false wall, or whatever you want to call it. That's what I call it. And I've lined that up. Figured out my distance there. So we are 32¼ roughly. That puts us about center of the plank. So that's good for this room. And what I did is I just took some measurements through the doorway into that other side of the room. And you know, when you're doing this, put some boards together like that and move it around. See, you know, take a ton of measurements. See, especially where you're going into multiple rooms. See where it's going to hit on the walls, and you know, if you're coming up against tile or something like that, just make sure you're going to get a good layout, and you're not going to end up with too many small pieces. Only spot I found where I'm going to end up with a kind of a small pieces is right there, that little 2-foot closet wall. So I'm not going to stress about that too much. So we'll lay out some boards, and then we'll nail down our false wall pieces there to hold that in place. So I figured this out. We want this to be 11 inches from that wall. So I'm going to put some rows together here. And looking down this wall, there's, I don't know, it's got some bows in it, so we're going to take some measurements here and then probably go to the other side of the room, take a few measurements just to see what we got here. Okay, so we got a couple starters here, and I don't know if I mentioned this in one of my last videos, but when you cut your finishers off, that end, whatever you cut off, bring down here to the other end and uses your starters. Don't worry about your stagger so much. You just want to have a good stagger here. I'd say nothing less than 12 to 16 inches, so depending on the product. So we're just gonna keep cutting. Of course, I brought my daughter with me, Ella. She's gonna do some cutting and run the camera for me too, so she's my helper today. And like I said, on these ends, you can use a mallet, or I just usually keep the hammer with me. That way I can tap the block if I need to, or just smack it with the soft end of this hammer, which works fine. And as always, I like to work out of 2 or 3 boxes at a time, just to get a nice mixture of colors in there. You can cut that out. I need the finisher, the other one. Actually, just had them both to me. You can put the starter one down there. So this is just my cheater board, and I've just cut that groove off the edge there. So this is a little trick. You just lay your other piece on top of the next row back and lay it on there even with that board. Then you'll just take your cheater piece here and slide it down as you go. I mean, you can tell that wall's got quite the bow in it right there. So we'll cut that and should be good. And of course, a good way to cut these is with a jigsaw too. I just like to score them and snap them with my knife here. But sometimes that gets a little dicey too, and it might be easier just to cut them with the table saw. Works great too, so just a lot messier. See if we can pull this off without snapping it here at the end. A little pry bar. Then if you can see that right there, we're just gonna tap on the end down here and it'll slide underneath the baseboard there. Or not the baseboard, but the door trim. It's under the trim and we got our 1/4 inch gap right there, basically against that wall, so we're good to go. So that's a little trick to do when you get against the wall to cut those. Okay, so we're gonna cut this piece here against this wall. We're just gonna overlap, keep that even with the edge. The edge is even there, and then we'll just use our little cheater board here. Mark that out. I got tired of fighting the door, so I took it off too. And I just cut these with my knife here, and might want to put something underneath it too so you don't slip off and gouge your floor, but I just cut the pad. Maybe this is kind of the caveman way of doing it, but I don't want to make 100 trips in and out, up and down, outside, so this is the way I started doing these. And getting through these doorways is always a treat. Go down the wall here. Got it a little tight there, but it's the sheetrock's up, so there's plenty of expansion there. Okay, this room is done pretty much, except for the back wall there, the walls or the false wall pieces I call them. So we're gonna work our way into the other room. Okay, so we're just gonna work through this doorway now. And what I do is just take a scrap piece and I will set it there. And we'll get our starter piece. So you can just use a scrap piece and get it right where you can lock it in. And then you just take your cheater piece. Mark that out. course, it's time for a new blade. So make sure you get this where it needs to be right here too, so you can mark where your wall is going back in, meeting up with the other one. Pretty simple. And then we'll just continue down the room here and finish that wall. And may have to put a couple spacers in that wall to hold it, but shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, this room's done. So the only thing we got left to do is pop up these pieces holding it, that we're holding it in place, and then we'll finish that last wall, a little bit on that wall, and we'll be done. Okay everyone, we've got this floor all done and looks good. Nice update for this apartment. They used to have me doing carpet, but they switched and started doing this LVP, and they've had good luck with it. Just the carpet didn't last very long with the tenants for whatever reason, but it's all done, and hopefully this video was helpful to you. So we're gonna call this one a wrap, and good luck with your project, and we will catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.